Okay. Hi, everybody. Welcome to, I don't know what this is, week 4. Is this week 4? I think it's week 4 of our Gold Star School Leadership Edition. And I'm in the car traveling. So if you're seeing me on video, that is why. So anyway, we are talking about limiting beliefs tonight. And I was just sharing with the girls that I had just done this training and I was working through limiting beliefs with some of the girls I was coaching. And I felt like Janine and I really worked through a limiting belief that she had. And she didn't think she had any limiting beliefs. And I have been there before where I didn't think I had any. And so I just felt like her story is super powerful, how we kind of went through that. So I asked her if she would share that with us tonight. So Janine, I can add in too, but will you start and share a little bit of your story?
Yeah. So, my limiting belief is that I I guess I would say it two ways. One, sometimes I believe I don't have enough time, and really that's because I believe I don't get to control my time. So, like, if I'm at work, I owe an employer my flesh and blood, and if there's work to do, I feel like I have to. Um, I let my friends and my desire for them to be connected to me control what I commit to. Um, and so Jen just asked me some really good questions, and honestly, I can't even remember what they were. But she Voxered me one day and she said, Janine, we're going to talk about limiting beliefs because I've been learning about it, and well, because you've been off the rails. She didn't say it quite like that, but that's what we all know I needed to hear. So, um, because I came back from seminar super jazzed up, and Jen just immediately fell into this wormhole of being pulled in a million different directions. And so we sat down at Panera and she just asked me these really good questions, and maybe she'll talk about them tonight. I don't remember what they were. But she said, I was like you, I didn't think I had a limiting belief. And we think that's because we're so high in positivity, and we know that it's bad to think negative things, right? And so we're not like, oh, I suck or I'm not good enough, but there's still limiting beliefs. So it just got down to this, she's like, okay, what's your goal? How many faces would it take to do that? Can you even where would you put all those faces? Can you do 30 faces in 30 days, all this stuff. And it just came down to this time. And she's like, okay, write it out on this paper, put your important things in here. And so we did the weekly plan sheet, which I do every week. But we did it, and she essentially forced me to prioritize my business, and then was like, okay, so do you want this or that? And I was like, I want this. And so since then, it's been um, a weekly lesson to learn how to tweak my schedule. Um, and of course, our schedule can't be perfectly structured all of the time, but I do feel, even though sometimes I'm still struggling to turn off my work brain and switch to Mary Kay brain, or turn off my Mary Kay brain and switch to housewife brain, like I am learning those things, and I'm learning how to protect my time. That's been huge, what time I actually need. And I really do feel empowered, even though sometimes it's difficult to cancel all your social events because you put 7 things in a weekend, and you just can't do that many things in a weekend. So, um, I feel like I'm still at the beginning of the journey. Check back in 4 more months and I'll tell you how awesome it was. But even if you're positive and you can't think of what the things are that you're telling yourself, I'm sure we all have limiting beliefs. And um, once I kill this one, we'll just go in there and find out what the next one is and work on that too.
Awesome. Thank you, Janine. So yeah, basically the goal was to do 30 faces in a month. And through our conversation, we basically figured out that her limiting belief was that she didn't really have enough time to do 30 faces in a month. And then when we worked out the time schedule, basically the affirmation is do 30 faces when I am true to my schedule, basically. And so it was really good. And I learned a lot just kind of working through that with her. And this is a little challenging because there's, 5 of you on the call and everybody's different. But the first thing that you have to figure out is, what are you wanting? What would be your goal? So if your goal is like a monetary amount, or if it's a level, or, whatever you're wanting in your Mary Kay business, what does that look like? So just write that down. What does that look like? What does your goal ultimately look like? I mean, maybe it's Queen's Court of Sales, or maybe it's, to drive a car, or maybe it's to make $100 a week. What does your goal look like? And if we weren't doing Mary Kay, you could also have limiting beliefs that weren't necessarily Mary Kay. It could be, it could just be a thought in your life. It could be, because I'm 50 years old, I can't, I don't know, I can't run a marathon, right? That could be a limiting belief. So it could be anything in life. So it could be any kind of a goal that you might want, or something that you're curious about, or something that you'd really like to do. Okay. And that you're really maybe struggling with getting that done. Okay. So everybody kind of shout out to me like what you wrote down.
I want to clear $600 a month after my 60-40 split.
Okay. $600 profit. Who else?
Beat Princess Court and get Queen's Court.
Say that again.
Beat Princess Court from last year with Queen's Court.
Oh, Queen's Court. Okay, awesome.
And then have a car in 2 years.
Okay.
Red jacket.
Okay.
Princess Court.
Okay.
Just try to get in the habit of just doing sales again, because life has just been so challenging this year, to stay in a rhythm.
Okay. So maybe consistent sales.
Yeah. And I do want to eventually 300, profit once this the 60-40 split.
Okay. Awesome. Okay. So you definitely have a place to start. So now we really need to evaluate what is it going to take to get that goal. Okay. So let's take Katie, for example. Okay. Katie is wanting her red jacket, which is 3 active team members, right? Well, we don't really know how many interviews it's going to take. She doesn't have a recruit yet. So the company average is 5 shares to 1 new team member. Okay. So for a red jacket, that would take company averages. It could be more or it could be less, but just a place to start would be 15 shares. Okay. So 15 shares would be what it would take to get her red jacket, right? So there could be a lot of things lined in with that little piece of information. Okay. So if I ask Katie, is there any reason why we couldn't do 15 shares in the next 2 weeks? Okay. What might be, I don't want her to answer. I want you guys to answer what might be some responses that she could say about that.
I'm super tired after my awful children at school.
Okay. What could be some other responses?
I'm at a new church and I don't want to be pushy and come in being pushy.
Okay. Those are good.
I don't know enough people yet.
Okay. Good. Those are good. Okay. Anything else? Okay, so basically I would work through with Katie those different belief systems and why that could be possible. Okay, so let's just take one. Like Janine said, she was really tired. Okay, so what I would say to her would be, okay, Katie, so when are you at your best? Like when are you not tired? When are you at your, most energy? Okay. And she might say Saturday morning. Okay. Because she doesn't have much going on Saturdays. She doesn't have the kids, right? So I'd be like, okay, great. Well, then is there any reason why we couldn't do 7 this Saturday and 7 next Saturday? So we're really like working to get to the root of why she's not making that happen. Okay. Because then she might say, I don't know enough people. I don't know enough people to ask. Right. Then, okay, who do you know? Who have you facial that you've not shared the opportunity with? And we'll go through that. Right. And then she'd be like, whatever. But I would work through that with her. I'm wondering if my husband is awake up there because we keep going off the side of the road.
Water and chips.
Okay. Hold on. Pause for a second. Okay. Got him some water and some snacks. All right. So is this kind of making sense? Now, if you look at it to the steps, there are 2 different handouts that I gave you. And there's this one that says 6 steps. See that one? They're basically the same, but this one is really kind of easier to work through, I think. So the first one is to clarify what you want and why do you want it. Okay. So I would ask Katie, why do you want that red jacket? What does that mean to you? Okay. Maybe status, maybe commission, maybe helping other women. I mean, it could be whatever you want that to be. And then step 2 is write a journal entry in the future, less than a year, more than a week, and detail out exactly how your goals came to life. So this is really working through like what new behaviors you need to work through. Now for me, okay, I'm just going to give you an example for myself. I didn't think I had a limiting belief, but I believe that I have enough time to book. Like, basically, it just wasn't a priority. But in my brain, I was like, I cannot work in booking calls. Like it's fun, and I don't have enough time. So basically, what it came down to is I knew that my bookings were the lifeline of my business. And if I didn't have bookings and I didn't have any personal business, and if I didn't have any personal business, then I wasn't moving forward in my business, right? So I had to figure out, and this was months in progress, what was holding me back from doing that. And honestly, it kind of came down to I was scared of what to say. Like scripting was really difficult for me, and I just didn't have accountability of someone holding me to that. And so Janine has been really pivotal, and my accountability group on Monday mornings as well has really been pivotal in changing that thought process for me. And so I worked through that in my brain of why I was doing this and what it would take for me to do that. And I'm proud to say now that I've kept 10 bookings on my day book now for, I don't know, at least 3 weeks, I think. So I know, I'm so excited about that. And okay, in the beginning, for me, it was really hard to just schedule parties right off the bat. But now I've had facials, and now I'm starting to get their rebookings into parties. And so in my brain, I was like, I used to really get that anymore. But really, that was just a lie that I was telling myself. And when I did a facial and then rebooked her into a party, my belief, it just makes a difference. But I had to like really go through that to figure that out. So then you can see that I kind of worked through all of these steps. So step 3 is consequences. What do you need to let go of so that you can move in full faith that your goals are on their way to you? Step 4 is the truth. What do I believe about achieving my goal? What negative thoughts come up when you ask this? Write down any limiting belief you identify. What are 3 things that aren't true about this limiting belief? So it's basically, if you really have a goal and there's any kind of negative thoughts that come up with that goal, you need to address those, because that could really be what's stopping you. So and then of course creating the decision and the commitment and working through each of those. Number 5, number 6, and then number 7. And you guys all have these, so you can kind of work through them on your own this week. This is going to be your homework actually, to work through that. But is there anyone who would be brave enough to just say what they think, what their negative thought would be that's on their mind when they think of their goal? Is there anyone that's kind of having any of those negative thoughts or anything of why they think they can't do it already? That you are having those thoughts we could kind of work through together.
Yeah, I'll jump in. Yeah, I put, if I succeed, life will happen and I won't continue to succeed or keep the momentum.
Okay, you cut out on me. Can you say that one more time?
Sure. If I succeed, life will happen and I won't continue to succeed or keep the momentum. Do you want me to type it to you, Jen?
No, I heard you.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, can you hear me? Okay, sorry about that. It's starting to rain and I don't know if that's affecting my reception or not. Okay, so if you succeed, life will happen and you'll no longer be successful. Is that what you said?
Yes, and be able to keep that momentum that I once had. And keep the momentum.
And keep the momentum. Okay. Well, first of all, life is going to happen. Right? So, I mean, if you go into it thinking that it's going to be perfect, it's probably not going to happen that way. Right? I mean, even, do you know anyone who's had a goal that it's gone perfectly?
No, no. It's a roller coaster ride.
It is for everyone. So maybe the limiting belief is not the limiting belief that you think, but the limiting belief could be more that you can't be successful being imperfect, or you can't be successful in life, like just with life happening. Because there's a difference. There's definitely a difference. And I think that you have to define success, which you already have, right? And there's profit in a month, right? So what's it going to take? What would that would be about $700 in sales a month, right? What would it take to have $700 in sales a month? What kind of activity?
Definitely my resales through PCP.
Okay.
And I need to just schedule getting out there and being able to find new faces. And right now that's a little bit of a challenge.
So how many faces do you think $700 would take? Let's just say how much of a reorder business do you think that you would have monthly, approximately?
With how many, so I needed to determine how many faces first. Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, I mean, you could do it either way. Like, how many faces would it take to do 700? Or if you were going to count your reorders, let's just say you had $200 in reorders. Okay. Then that would be $500 left for faces. How many faces would it take you doing to achieve $500 in sales?
10 or less.
10 or less, absolutely. Okay, so 10 or less in a month. So 10 a month would be 2.5 faces a week,
Mhm.
right?
Right.
Okay, and how much time would that take? How much time would 2.5 faces be a week?
Well, if it's a class, it would just be maybe 2 or 3 hours.
Right? 2 or 3 hours. For sure. Or if you had 2 guests on the virtual party each week, I mean, that's just an hour and you're not
Okay.
even leading it, right?
Right.
So, all of this to say, when it goes back into this, why do you want it? What do you think is going to get in your way of doing the 2 faces a week or 4 hours a week in your Mary Kay business? I know you got a wedding coming up.
Well,
Right.
and I'm still caring for Kyle after his heart attack. And so, I mean, we're still recovering from that. And so I can't have a lot of company, the people that we don't know in our home right now, because of just the germ factors. And
Sure.
so,
But what about the virtual option?
but I was going to say, yeah, the virtual option would definitely be the best possibility for the near future.
Because I know you've had some sales in the last month, even through everything. You've
Yeah.
hardly missed a meeting, even through everything that you've had gone on. You've really worked hard to just stay us, and that's like huge. I mean, just a little bit more effort is going to get you to that place where you're having people on each week. Now, it might take you a few weeks to get the ball rolling
Mhm. Right.
to see how it fit. But even where life is now,
You cut
can
out.
you see that? Can you see that into what it looks like?
Sorry, I can't hear. Sorry, Jen, we're having trouble hearing you. You're cutting out.
That's okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Can you see how that could fit into what you've got going on in your life right now?
Yes, I could. And now it's just a matter of coming up with those
Okay.
faces.
Right. Right. And so as you work through the problem, there might even be another limiting belief that comes up, because now you're like, okay, well, I could see that working into my life, but I don't have anyone to contact, you
Mhm.
know? So then that's a whole nother limiting belief that you don't have anyone to contact. Okay. That might not be your limiting belief, but I'm just saying, then you work through that situation like, okay, well, let's just start with, who do I know that I have, that I went to school with that I could ask, then you start working through the list. Okay. And it's a process. This isn't something that's going to happen in like 5 minutes. So working through this process with what could be a limiting belief could take a bit of time. So anybody have any questions? Or I know kind of a lot, especially if you're not working across from me, or a coach, it can be a little bit challenging. So does anybody have any questions? Okay. So what I want you guys to do this week is to take one of these two. It can be either one because they both have steps to it, whichever one you like the best. Okay. And work through the steps in what you've already stated what your goal is, right? And work through those steps with your limiting belief. Now, if you come across a snag, or like, okay, I don't know what to do about this, or this is what I'm thinking, I want you to boxer me. Okay. As you're working through it. Is that good?
Mhm.
Okay. I'm excited to see what you guys find out this week about your limiting beliefs. Now, like I said, this is with your Mary Kay business. You could also have limiting beliefs that are like not in your business. Okay. This is just specific to your business. Okay. All right. Any thoughts or questions?
So just filling out those steps for our specific thing
Right.
on that paper. Okay.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'll be excited to hear from you guys this week. And don't forget, Monday, we will not have do not have our leadership time next Monday. So you have 2 weeks to get your Strength Finder test done. And our first meeting in November, we're going to start talking about your specific strengths. Okay.
Do we just go to the strength?
Is there
finder
anyone who
website?
hasn't taken the test? Say that again.
Do we just go to like the Strength Finder website and just start the test, or where would be a good place to access that?
You can do that, or you can purchase on Amazon, or it's called Strength Finder's book. It's like $14.95, and it has a code in the back of it for you to take a test. It gives you a code. You get the book and the test.
Thank you.
All right, let me know if you guys have any other problems or questions. All right, have a great week.
Thanks, Jen.